Dear woman, if you are listening to this right now, take a moment to breathe. You have lived through decades of change. You have held families together. You have worked hard, cared deeply, and often put yourself last. You have been the quiet strength behind so many lives. You have been the person others counted on. And now, you have reached a chapter that no one really prepared you for. Maybe the house feels emptier. Maybe the days are quieter. Maybe there is a stillness around you that you are just beginning to notice. Society calls these your golden years, but no one tells you how to feel when the structure of the past fades away, when the roles you once played shift or disappear, when you wake up and ask, now what? You are not alone. Because here is something we rarely say out loud. This part of life is not about slowing down to disappear. It is about finally becoming who you truly are, without apology, without guilt, and without the noise of everyone else's expectations. This is not the end of your story. This is the chapter where you come home to yourself. So let this be your invitation to stop waiting for permission, to stop shrinking, to stop asking whether your dreams still matter, because they do. You do. And in case no one has told you this lately, your best years might not be behind you. They might just be waiting. Let's begin. 1. You've spent your life being everything for everyone. You have been the glue, the one who kept it all together, even when it felt like everything might fall apart. You have worn more titles than anyone can count: daughter, sister, wife, mother, grandmother, friend, caregiver, provider. You gave when you had nothing left. You smiled when your heart was tired. You stayed strong for everyone else, even when no one asked if you were okay. For years, your life revolved around the needs of others. You woke up early, stayed up late, and filled your days with responsibilities. You cooked, cleaned, worked, managed schedules, juggled emotions, and held the weight of the world on your shoulders. And while you may have heard thank you from time to time, most of what you did was unseen, unspoken, and often taken for granted. But here is the part no one talks about. When the children grow up, when the job ends, when the busyness quiets down, you are left with a silence that can feel confusing, maybe even frightening. You ask yourself, now that no one needs me in the same way, who am I? Let me be clear. This feeling is not weakness. It is not selfish. It is not wrong. It is the natural pause that happens when you have spent a lifetime being everything for everyone else. And finally, someone asks you to be something for yourself. And that someone, dear woman, is you. It is okay to admit that you are not sure who you are beyond your roles. It is okay to feel lost for a moment, because rediscovery always begins with a question, and the most powerful one is this: what do I need now? The truth is, you have not disappeared. You have just been buried under years of giving, and now is the time to gently, lovingly uncover the woman underneath. Not the mother, not the wife, not the caregiver, but the you that has always existed, the one who still dreams, still feels, still hopes. This is not the moment to fade away. This is the moment to return, not to who you used to be, but to who you are becoming. 2. The myth of it's too late. You have probably heard it before, maybe whispered softly by others, or louder in your own mind. The idea that some things are simply too late to start again, too late to learn, too late to change, too late to matter in the way you used to. But here is what I want to offer you today. That is a lie. A deeply ingrained, well-rehearsed lie. And it has stolen too many dreams from women like you. Because the truth is, as long as you are alive, as long as your heart is beating, it is not too late. It is not too late to go back to school, to start painting again, to open your own small business, to fall in love. Maybe for the first time, maybe all over again. It is not too late to reconnect with a part of yourself that you had to set aside for survival. Yes, you have changed. Your body may move differently. Your face may tell stories in lines and soft places, but age has also given you gifts that cannot be bought. Wisdom, perspective, courage. You no longer have to prove anything. You just have to be. There are women starting over at 70. There are women writing their first book at 80. There are women traveling the world, finding new friendships, and creating new memories at 90. Why? Because they decided not to let the clock write their story. Every day that you wake up is another page you get to write. You are not a chapter that closed. You are a novel still unfolding. Do not measure your life by what you used to be able to do. Measure it by the strength it took to become who you are now, and by the courage it will take to say yes to what is next. No matter what the world tells you, no matter what fear whispers in your ear, hear this instead. You are not done. You are still here. And while you are here, it is not too late. 3. Letting go of guilt and the need for permission. Guilt is something women know too well. It starts early and grows quietly, threading itself through our decisions, our sacrifices, our silence. You have probably carried guilt in your purse, your pockets, your heart, your guilt for not doing enough, guilt for wanting more, guilt for resting, for saying no, for speaking up. And even now, in this season of your life, guilt still shows up. Maybe it tells you that you are selfish for wanting time to yourself. Maybe it says you should not spend money on that trip, or that new class, or that dress you fell in love with. Maybe it tells you that you need someone's permission to enjoy what you have earned. But here is the truth. You do not need permission to enjoy your life. Not from your children, not from your partner, not from your past, not even from that voice in your head that still doubts whether you are allowed to be happy. You have already given your life to others. You have raised them, supported them, loved them. You have shown up in 100 quiet, beautiful ways. And now, it is time to show up for yourself, not with guilt, but with grace. You deserve joy. You deserve ease. You deserve mornings that begin slowly, and days filled with choices that bring you peace. Let go of the need to justify your desires. You do not have to explain why you want something. You do not need to earn rest or affection or beauty. You're not asking for too much. You're finally asking for what is yours. Guilt has no place in your golden years. Only grace does. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to choose differently. And you're absolutely allowed to live a life that fills you, heals you, and delights you. This is your permission slip, written not by society, not by someone else, but by your own heart. 4. Finding joy in the little things. Joy has a way of slipping quietly into the smallest corners of life, not with a loud entrance, but with a whisper. Somewhere along the journey, we were taught to chase happiness like it was a finish line. Get the job, raise the family, pay the bills, and then, maybe, joy would come. But what if joy was never meant to be a reward at the end of effort, but something you could find right here in the middle of an ordinary moment? You do not need fireworks for a good day. Sometimes joy is a warm cup of coffee on a cool morning. Sometimes it is the sound of wind moving gently through trees. Sometimes it is your favorite song playing when you least expect it, or the laughter of someone you love on the other end of the phone. It can be the softness of a sweater, the way your pet curls up beside you, or the feel of sunlight on your face. Joy lives in these small places. It does not require a reason. It does not wait for everything to be perfect. It simply asks to be noticed. When you slow down enough to pay attention, You begin to see that your days are filled with tiny invitations, opportunities to feel wonder, to feel comfort, to feel connected. You do not have to chase these moments. They are already around you. As women, we were raised to serve, to strive, to always be doing something. But now you get to be, to rest, to feel, to savor. This chapter of life is not about what you accomplish. It is about what you allow yourself to feel. Joy is not selfish. It is not trivial. It is not a luxury. Joy is medicine. It is what softens the edges of pain. It is what heals tired hearts. It is what reminds us that even though life may be changing, beauty is still very much present. So let yourself find joy in the smallest things. Collect those moments like seashells. Protect them. Celebrate them. Let them nourish you. Because when you allow yourself to feel joy, you are choosing to stay alive in the truest sense. Awake, present, and deeply connected to the life you still get to live. 5. Redefining purpose in this season of life. For most of your adult life, purpose may have looked like a job, a title, a role you played for others. It may have been measured in how busy you were, how much you gave, or how much you got done in a single day. But now, those roles may be shifting or gone entirely. The pace has changed. The to-do list is shorter, and the question arises, what is my purpose now? This can feel like a loss at first, like something has been taken from you. But what if I told you that your purpose was never meant to stay the same forever? What if this chapter was not about losing your sense of meaning, but about uncovering a deeper one? Purpose in your later years does not have to look like what it used to. It does not have to be tied to work, or productivity, or being useful to others in a traditional way. Now, purpose can look like presence, like peace, like choosing how you want to spend your time, with full intention and love. Maybe your purpose now is to be a storyteller, to share the wisdom you've gathered with the next generation. Maybe it is to volunteer, or to write, or to create. Maybe it is to tend a garden, to care for animals, or to simply take better care of yourself. Purpose is not always loud. Sometimes it is soft, gentle, and quiet, and yet deeply powerful. You are allowed to redefine what matters. You're allowed to build a life around the things that light you up inside. What used to bring you meaning might no longer serve you. And that's okay. You are evolving. You are allowed to change. Do not let the world tell you that retirement means irrelevance, that aging means fading, that slowing down means disappearing. You are still here. Your life still holds deep meaning. And every morning that you wake up is a chance to ask, what would make today feel full? There is a special kind of purpose that emerges when you begin to live for you. When your worth is not tied to what you do for others, but to how you honor your own spirit. This is not selfishness. This is sacred living. So redefine purpose on your terms. Let it be soft or bold. Let it be quiet or creative. But let it be yours. Because the most beautiful kind of purpose is the kind you choose for yourself. 6. The happiness advantage. Your true fountain of youth. Happiness is not just a mood. It is a force. It is a biological shift, a mental clarity, and a spiritual awakening, all wrapped in one. And here's the beautiful truth. It is still available to you. In fact, now may be the most powerful time in your life to feel it fully. Scientists call it the happiness advantage. They've found that people who focus on joy, gratitude, and connection live longer, stay healthier, and experience life more deeply. Their immune systems are stronger. Their minds are sharper. Their hearts, both literal and emotional, stay more open. And the best part? You do not need anything fancy to access it. No pills, no miracle routines, just the daily intentional choice to look for what is still good. Because happiness, especially in this season of life, is not about constant excitement. It is not about escaping sadness or pretending everything is perfect. It is about noticing the goodness that is already here. It is about making room for light, even when shadows remain. You can choose happiness when you step outside and breathe in the morning air, when you hear from an old friend, when you laugh at a memory, when you let yourself cry and feel peace afterward. Happiness is not one big event. It is thousands of small ones strung together with grace. And here's what matters most. You deserve to feel happy now, not later, not someday, not only if everyone else is okay first. You have given your life to others. Now, it is time to give yourself the gift of joy, not just as a treat, but as a responsibility to your own soul. Because when you are happy, you shine differently. You love more deeply. You become more open, generous, and present. And yes, you live longer, but more importantly, you live better. So ask yourself, what makes me smile? What brings me comfort? What lifts my spirit even just a little? And then, make space for that, often, without guilt. You do not have to earn happiness. It is already yours, waiting gently on the edge of every moment you allow yourself to be fully alive. 7. Embracing slow living. For most of your life, your days were packed from the moment you opened your eyes. There was always something, somewhere to be, something to fix, someone to care for. Mornings blurred into afternoons, and afternoons into nights. You were always doing, always moving, always pushing through, often without rest. But now you wake up, and the house is quieter. The calendar has more open space. The urgency has faded. Not because there is nothing left to do, but because you are finally free to choose how you want to do it. You no longer need to race. You no longer need to prove. You're allowed to slow down. Not because you are tired, though you may be. Not because the world says you should, though it might. But because you want to. Because your soul is asking you to. Because for the first time in a very long time, you can. Slow living is not about giving up or disengaging from life. It is about reconnecting to it. On your terms. It is about returning to the pace that allows you to breathe, to notice, to feel. It's about doing less, not out of lack, but out of wisdom. Choosing only what matters most and letting go of the noise. It means waking up gently. It means stretching, not rushing. It means making your morning coffee a ritual instead of a routine. It means walking instead of speeding. Listening instead of reacting. Saying no to things that drain you, and yes to things that bring peace, even if that peace comes in the form of quiet solitude, a simple meal, or sitting outside and doing absolutely nothing. In this slower pace, something magical begins to happen. You start to hear your own voice again, the one that was drowned out by responsibilities and noise for so long. You begin to sense what your body truly needs, what your heart truly longs for, and suddenly, life becomes less about tasks and more about presence. There is power in stillness. There is wisdom in quiet, and there is healing in simplicity. You're not missing out by slowing down. You're waking up to what was always there, the beauty of the ordinary, the sacredness of small moments, the depth in each breath. You're choosing a kind of life that doesn't depend on speed to feel meaningful. Yes, the world will keep moving fast, but you don't have to keep up. You can live at your own rhythm now, the rhythm of your body, your soul, your heart, and so light that candle in the morning. Take the long route on your walk. Sit on the porch and watch the wind play with the trees. Bake something from scratch, not for a celebration, but just because it feels good to do something slow and loving. This is your time, not to keep running, but to be still, to slow down enough to feel alive again, and to remember, life was never about how much you do, but how deeply you live. 8. Your legacy of love. When people speak of legacy, they often mean material things. Money left behind, a house passed down, or objects treasured by generations. But the most enduring legacy is emotional. It's not what you leave in your will. It's what you leave in people's hearts. You might not even realize how deeply you've already shaped lives. But your legacy has never just been about what you gave or what you did. It's about how you made others feel. Think about it. What will your children remember most? The meals you made or the way you welcomed them home with warmth in your eyes? What will your grandchildren carry with them? Your recipes or the way you laughed so freely they felt joy just being near you? They will remember the comfort of your presence, the softness in your voice when you read them stories, the strength they saw in you when things were hard, and how, somehow, you still led with love. They will remember how safe they felt in your arms, how your hugs made the world seem less scary, how you always knew when they needed a kind word, a small gift, or just your time. That is love. And love is legacy. Every gentle act, every word of encouragement, every quiet sacrifice, every time you showed up, even when no one noticed, it built something invisible but unshakable. It built a story about you in the hearts of those around you. And here's what's most important. You are still writing that story. You don't have to be perfect to leave behind something powerful. You just have to keep loving. Keep showing up with sincerity. Keep being real. Sometimes legacy is built not in the grand gestures, but in the small, consistent acts of compassion. The daily phone call, the smile in passing, the listening ear, the honest heart. And what about the people you never even knew you impacted? The young woman at the grocery store you complimented, the friend who remembers something kind you said 20 years ago, the child you smiled at when their mother was overwhelmed. These moments ripple. You may not see it, but the love you offer travels far beyond what you imagine. If you've ever questioned whether you've done enough, know this: your love has mattered more than you'll ever fully understand. You have taught people how to care, how to stay soft in a hard world, how to forgive, how to rise after falling, and most of all, how to love without conditions. That is a legacy far richer than anything money can buy. So live the rest of your days knowing that your presence continues to echo, that every kind word, every shared laugh, every tear wiped from another's face, it lingers, it teaches, it heals. And even after you are gone, the love you gave will remain, in memories, in stories, in gestures passed down from hand to hand and heart to heart. That is the legacy only you can leave, and it's already more than enough. This is your time. You've spent your life giving. You've held babies in hands, wiped tears, cooked meals without thanks, sat beside hospital beds, held families together with invisible thread. You've loved quietly, fiercely, fully, often without ever putting your name beside the credit. You have known exhaustion. You have known sacrifice. You have known what it means to pour and pour, without ever asking to be filled. And now you stand in a moment unlike any you've had before. The children may be grown. The career may be complete. The years behind you may feel long and full. But the years ahead, they are yours in a way they have never been before. This is your time, not to prove anything, not to chase what was lost, but to return to what's real, to return to you. You don't need a title to matter. You don't need to be needed to be valuable. You don't need to be busy to be important. You, just as you are, quiet or bold, resting or dreaming, are enough. You are not invisible. You are not irrelevant. You are not past your prime. You are radiant. You are rooted. You are rising again in a way that's deeper than before. This is your time to speak honestly, to dress how you want, to spend time with people who light you up, to walk away from things that no longer feel like home. This is your time to fall in love again, maybe with someone, maybe with the world, maybe with your own reflection in the mirror. This is your time to rest without guilt, to laugh without restraint, to walk slowly, to cry openly, to heal old wounds, to make peace with your story, not because it was perfect, but because it was yours. You get to write the final chapters however you choose. Let them be beautiful. Let them be gentle. Let them be bold if that's what you crave, or still and quiet if that's what brings you peace. This is your time to travel, even if it's just to the bookstore across town. This is your time to learn something new, even if it's just how to say no. This is your time to reclaim your joy, your body, your schedule, your voice. And if ever you feel unsure, remember this: you are not starting over. You are continuing forward with more wisdom, more heart, and more freedom than ever before. Your life is not a story that has already been written. It is a book that is still open, and every page you turn is yours to shape, to savor, to celebrate. So take a deep breath. Look around, feel the softness of your own presence, and walk into this next chapter with your head high, your heart open, and your soul grounded in the truth. You have nothing left to prove, only life left to live. And this time, it's for you.